Mega Dads Live is a mature-rated podcast. It's for the Mega Dads, the Mega Moms, but not the Mega Kids. So put on those earmuffs and let's go!
What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another exciting episode of Mega Dads Live. And do we have a show for you? Surprise! I am here with Clay Double D Howard. I'm Antonio, aka Hypecaster, and we are talking about a really cool game today on Mega Dads. But first, you know we like to just chat it up. We like to get to know each other. We like to break the ice a bit in the beginning. It's a little bit of a tradition here. So, Clay, we're gonna be talking about Batman. Are you a huge Batman fan, or is he just one of these like not a flash in the pan, not as big of a cultural icon? You don't understand why people like him, or do you have like Batman underwear and you're going to sleep in Batman pajamas every night? Which camp are you?
Yeah, so I am in the camp of I am a huge Batman fan.
Whoa.
I don't know if you probably can't see all the stuff on this shelf back here, but there's a lot of Batman stuff back there. And I just knocked my water over.
Oh no.
But we're
Water.
good. Anywho, I'm knocking water over because I'm so excited about Batman. But no, yeah, I'm a huge Batman fan. I have been since I was a little child. I remember I had a birthday party when I was a little kid, and I'm pretty sure it was all Batman themed, and was a big fan. Kind of took a break during high school, but towards the later years of my high school was when the Christopher Nolan trilogy came out.
Oh my God, the Nolan trilogy, yeah.
Yeah, as it did with a lot of people, kind of reignited my passion for Batman again, and so got back into it again at that point and kind of re-obsessed with it. Started rewatching, Batman the Animated Series that I watched as a kid, and was rewatching the movies, and kind of just became a diehard Batman guy in my later high school years and college years. And so I've always been a fan. More recently, I've gotten back into comic books as an adult. And so I've been reading a lot of comic books, and I collect Absolute Batman, which is a new comic line that they have going. I collect like all the different covers for that one, and it's a little crazy. And so I'm a huge fan. I've played the video games, since the NES and onward. I still remember pre-ordering Batman Arkham Asylum for the 360 and selling a bunch of games off so I could afford it, because I was like poor and like freshly out of college and had no money. And oh man, I love Batman. I could talk about Batman all day. In fact, I was thinking about this the other day while I was playing Lego Batman, because the other most recent Lego game is Star Wars one, the Skywalker whatever.
Oh right,
saga.
Yeah,
that one. And I was like, I would venture to say that if I had to pick to either keep or lose from existence, Batman or Star Wars, like I would probably pick Batman.
Wow.
And like the more I was thinking about it, I'm like, that's wild, because I love Star Wars. I mean, like any other dude in his 20s or 30s, like grew up with it, love it, obsessed with it. But I think I might like Batman more. I just there's a lot to it. There's a lot of good things about Batman. There's some things I don't like and things I don't necessarily care for, but it's the villains for me, man. I think Batman just has the best villains of any superhero. There might be things about other superheroes that are better, but if you're just going based off merit alone from their villains, you can't beat Batman.
I was gonna ask you like what it is that you think Batman, like what about him or what about it like really hooks you. So think about that a little bit. If it's the villains, that's fine. For me, my Batman experience started when we were walking down a grocery store aisle, and they had this big tower of VHS tapes, and I saw the bat symbol, and it was on all the covers of these tapes, and I was like, I was just drawn to it. And I asked my parents, I'm like, can we get this? And they're like, yeah, sure. So, apparently, again, we didn't see it in theaters, but these VHS types were there, and we just put it in, went home, and I was way too young, I believe, to be watching what I was watching, because there's a fair bit of violence in the 1980, was it 84? 84 Batman. What was the original?
89.
89. Okay, 89 Batman. So at the very earliest, I was 4 or 5 when I may have seen this. And it was just a little bit too much. For me, this duality thing is impressive because, like in the movies especially, the character gets to play the like kind of lackadaisical, selfish billionaire, and then when you get out there, you have this hurt and revenge at your core that you get to like let out at night. And I always thought that was like intriguing, like as I was growing up, like you just realize the depth of the character. There's a lot of sides, a lot of things to him, like do not kill type stuff, like all that stuff. So what do you think it is about Batman? Is it the villains that he gets to go up against and the challenge that he faces?
Well, it is and it isn't. For me, Batman's thing, and people always say this, what's so great about Batman? He's just a normal dude. And that's the whole point. He doesn't have superpowers. He doesn't, he's rich. Yeah, he's got like a lot of tech and all this stuff. But what makes him a superhero is the fact that he doesn't have, invincibility. He doesn't have superhuman strength. He's just a human being who is doing everything that he can to like go above and beyond. He put in the discipline. He learned, all these different types of martial arts and fighting styles, and he's a detective, and he's educated, he's smart, and he pushes his body to the limits day after day to try to make his city a better place. And I argue that's what makes him, the fact that his weakness is not some random piece of rock that came from his home planet. And that's it. His weakness is love and affection and trying to live a normal life on top of this and everything that comes with that. And then just the totality of being a mortal who's just, can only stretch himself so far. And so eventually he has to allow people into his life to work alongside him because he can't do everything. But then that, creates new problems of letting people in, bringing people closer. And then eventually they get hurt and that hurts you. And there's just so much there. So much good stuff.
The montage from The Dark Knight from the Nolan film I thought was like awesome, where he like builds himself up. I think they did a good job there, just saying like, okay, they first show him as really weak, and then he's just like, but what if you just really tried to reach your maximum like potential? What if could you be driven enough to do that? And yeah, the education part of it too, he has his mind and his body, and he's willing to like break them. In the later Nolan films, they show him like, with the limp, and I think they talk about it. They're like, your body's all like messed up. Like they're like, you don't have it in you. He starts to lose fights and stuff. It's a really deep character. I'm glad you're such a Batman fanatic, because I have prepared a little bit of a quiz for you. I have 5 multiple choice questions of increasing difficulty, 3 possible answers, and you have to pick one. Are you ready?
I'm ready. I hope I don't let us all down.
Batman's gadget arsenal is legendary. Which of these Batman gadgets has never officially appeared in comics, films, TV, or games? And we have a little chat going in our recorder here, so I will actually let you see them. A, Bat Shark Repellent. B, Bat Toothbrush Grappler. C, Bat Credit Card. Which of these gadgets has never officially appeared in anything?
Okay, it is not Bat Shark Repellent, because that is very famously in definitely in the TV show. It's also in the game we're about to talk about today. Bat Credit Card is also in the movies. That is in the George Clooney one. So I'm going to go with B, Bat Toothbrush Grappler. Final answer.
You are correct. You got the first one correct, but I'm not so sure you're going to get this next one. Batman has appeared in video games for decades, but long before the Arkham series, there was one officially licensed title that kicked everything off. What was the title of the first officially licensed Batman game? Is it A, Batman the Cape Crusader, B. Batman Returns, or C. Batman the video game?
All right. Well, I know it's not B, Batman Returns. That's definitely not when the first game came out. So it's either A or B or A or C. A, Batman the Cape Crusader. That doesn't sound quite right to me, and so my gut is going with C, Batman the video game. Cape Crusader is just kind of a weird tagline to throw into the very first game, but sometimes they would do stuff like that. Not intentionally. So I'm gonna go C, Batman the video game. Final answer.
Okay, C, final answer. Batman the Cape Crusader is an action-adventure game developed and released in 1988. It was a Batman the Cape Crusader, the very first officially licensed Batman game.
Was that on the NES?
You're one down. Let me see if I can find it quickly. I do not know. I do not know.
If it came out on some weird console. All right, well, I was wrong.
Amiga, Apple II, Atari, Commodore, DOS. So all this weird shit
ones.
back in 1988. Okay, so one down. It's okay because I neglected to tell you that you get to have one wrong. You get
good.
You can get one wrong.
Wow, dodged a bullet there.
Batman has battled several different versions of Clayface across comics, cartoons, and games, but the version that most fans recognize is the one from Batman, the animated series, who has a tragic Hollywood backstory. What is the real name of that most famous Clayface? Is it A, Basil Carlo, B, Matt Hagen, or C, Roman Sinise? The real name of the most famous Clayface. He was in Batman the Animated Series. Is it A?
Is this the name?
This is the real name of the character
from Batman the Animated Series, not from. All right, go ahead.
A, Basil Carlo, B, Matt Hagen, C, Roman Solis.
It's crazy because I just watched this not that long ago.
This is a harder one on purpose, and it is also hard because, I mean, you don't know the names of all of the, like, you could do Cobblepot, you can do, like, any of these other ones that you know the name, but Clayface is the hard one because you just don't remember.
Yeah. Between A and C, Matt Hagen doesn't sound right. I'm thinking it's either the Basil or Roman. Man, but it could be either one.
This is interesting. This is so interesting.
Maybe I'm.
What are you gonna do? Go with your heart.
So I guess C last time, and it was wrong. So I'm gonna go C, Roman Sionis.
The correct answer is A, Basil Carlo. Oh my God! How could you? A supposed Batman fan in our midst. Wow. Fourth question. We're gonna let him go on, ladies and gentlemen.
Wow. Redeeming myself.
The original Lego Batman from 2008 became a massive success and helped establish Batman as one of Lego's biggest gaming franchises. Which villain was featured as the final boss in the campaign of the original Lego Batman game? Is it A, Joker, B, Ra's al Ghul, or C, Penguin?
It's probably A or B. Man, I can't remember. It's been such a long time.
2008 was quite a long time ago, and Lego Batman.
A long time.
Lego Bat. Did you play the Lego Batman? You
did. I did. I owned it and played it. I mean, I know Joker's in it.
The final boss of the campaign in the original Lego Batman. Is it A, Joker, B, Ra's al Ghul, or C, Penguin?
I'm gonna assume they saved Ra's al Ghul for a different game, and maybe he's not even in it. So I'm gonna go Joker. A, Joker. Final answer.
That is correct. Okay. Joker was the final. Okay, here we go. For the last question, this is worth 3 points, which will put you over the top. You could walk away a winner. The Lego Batman franchise evolved significantly over time, eventually introducing a full open world Gotham City for players to explore. Which Lego Batman game first introduced open world Gotham City Hub for the first time? Is it A, Lego Batman, the video game, B, Lego Batman 2, DC Superheroes, or C, Lego Batman 3, Beyond Gotham? Which Lego Batman game first introduced the open world Gotham City Hub? A, Lego Batman the video game, B, Lego Batman 2, DC Superheroes, or C, Lego Batman 3, Beyond Gotham?
Dang it, man. I know it's obviously not the first one. It's either B or C. I've owned both. I've played both, but man, I can't remember which one. I get
all the marbles, for all the points.
I get a lot of the two confused.
With thousands listening and millions watching across the world, all the pressure on them.
It's got to be B, because C is Beyond Gotham. That's where they go out and do other DC areas and stuff. So I like to think that they wouldn't put all the money into it if it was the third one, so it had to have been the second one. Going B, Lego Batman 2, DC Superheroes. Final answer.
Is that your final answer?
Yeah, that's my final answer.
That is correct! Lego Batman 2, DC Superheroes first introduced open world Gotham City to the video game nerds to explore.
I need to go back and try and play that one, especially now that I played the new one, and just see how good or bad it was at the time.
That was surprisingly fun. You did better than I thought you would do, so that's fine. Oof. And you were like on the fence about the ones you got like wrong too, so at least you had that. Something was nagging at you. But let's talk about the latest video game in the Batman Lego series. Lego Batman Legacy of the Dark Knight is an open-world action-adventure platformer. It is available now on Nintendo... not Nintendo Switch 2. Nintendo Switch 2 coming later. It is available on Xbox Series X and S, PS5, and PC. This is developed by Telltale Games and published by Warner Brothers Games. Clay, is this the best Lego Batman to date?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I would say without a doubt, personally. Unless you compare it against the movie, then maybe not. But yeah, but as far as video games go, Lego Batman video games, this is by far the best. It can't. There's no way any of the earlier entries could top this. It's a great game. Just in general, I am by far not the Lego video game aficionado. The first one came out the year after I graduated high school. So not that high schoolers or college or adults can't play Lego games, but it was a little late for me. And so I missed, Indiana Jones. I got Star Wars, but missed Indiana Jones, missed The Lord of the Rings, The Hobbit. Like, they did a lot of them. And so I'm by far not the aficionado when it comes to those games. I've played some of them. I own quite a few of them, but I was not like a big Lego, kid growing up as far as video games go. But I talked to some of my friends who are a little bit younger than me, and it's a whole different story, But man, yeah, what a great game. This game overall was a blast to play from start to finish. I did beat it already. I think I technically beat it the day after it technically released.
You got the deluxe edition,
but I did get the deluxe,
yeah,
which gave it to me 3 days earlier. And so, and I've only beaten the campaign. I played through the credits. I'm still trying to 100% it. I'm only at 60%. But anyway, not bragging that I beat a children's game, because that is what this is at heart, as a kid's game. But it does feel very approachable for an adult to play this game. Is it a little too easy? Yes. Does it maybe lack some challenge in certain areas? Yeah, for sure. But man, I had a blast, and I'm still having a blast. Like I said, the fact that I decided to 100% this game says a lot, because people our age, Antonio, we don't have time to sit around and 100% these big open open world games. It takes so much time. And I did it with Donkey Kong Bonanza too, where I was just like, I'm getting everything. Even I don't care if there's nothing worth unlocking. I'm gonna do it anyways. That's when you know you got yourself a good game, a game that you really enjoy, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, like I agree about like the Lego thing. Like as they started coming out, I was immediately impressed that of just the idea. It's like, oh, everything is made with the little blocks. And they meant it because like if you like broke something, you could see that it was like they didn't half-ass it in a lot of ways. Like they kept building on this idea of like, no, we're building all of this with Legos. And it was like, could that work? And once it started to do it and they started attaching to more popular IPs, I was interested. I've picked up these games, especially the Marvel like superhero one. I've played a little bit of them as they come out, but even though the quirky like humor, the spin of like, oh, this is a callback, this is an Easter egg, this is a reimagining, all these things are great and they can be funny and entertaining. And that was great. But then the collecting the bricks, okay, I'm breaking this, I'm breaking this, I'm breaking this. It was always like the same thing. And the gameplay has always left me like wanting like more. The word on the street is that the gameplay of this one has been elevated. What can you say about it? Would it keep someone's attention? I don't expect challenging. Are there difficulty levels, by the way? Can you select easy, medium, hard type thing?
Yeah, so there's yes, there are 3 modes. I played just on medium. A lot of people I read were bumping it up to the Dark Knight mode, which is the most difficult. I thought about doing it, and I probably could have, and I hear that it's still fine even when you do that. And so you get a ton of health. Like I think there's like 6. You get 6 hearts or something. It's like some Zelda level stuff. Anyway, so there is a difficulty, but I don't think I ever really died, and if I did, it was because I like wasn't paying attention or like friendly fire or something stupid. But very few times where I felt like, oh, I got to be careful, I might die. It did happen, but not a ton. But that being said, like, man, it's still a fun game. Yeah, the difficulty leaves a little bit to be desired at times, but I think the exploration and just the overall enjoyment you get of it, and just looking around for things and exploring the open world, that I think works regardless of whether or not the combat is super repetitive or whatever. Like, yeah, it could be, but I don't think there's that much combat in this game compared to like the Arkham games. I think you got some other stuff going on. But your original question to me was like, is it all the same? Is it just a lot of the same stuff over and over? And I do feel with the old Lego games, it does feel a little repetitive. You have your characters that have their little special abilities, but then other than that, you're kind of just breaking down the same things, opening doors, going on to the next area. This game, on the other hand, I do feel like has a lot more going for it. And I don't know how vast and how unique the older Lego games have been. I haven't played a lot of them, and so I don't know if they're just rehashing old puzzles. But to me, this felt like I was constantly being introduced to something, maybe not like completely different, but different enough where it was like, wow, this game is just like so random. The things they would come up with. All right, next you're going to do this, or next you're going to do that. It does have a lot of the Arkham games mixed in, so there is a lot of like go under the vents underground and then come up on this other side, and all of a sudden you're somewhere you're not supposed to be. And so like it takes a lot of notes from the source material it's pulling from, but for me it always felt like there was something new happening, or when things would start to get a little stale, you unlock a new character which had 2 new abilities to them. And so I think this game actually did a really good job of keeping things fresh. And then each chapter kind of represented either a different movie or a different game from Batman, and so the updating of like the characters and what they looked like, and just the references you were getting, that kind of helped keep things fresh too, if that makes sense. And
That's
so even
awesome.
if things started to feel stale, all of a sudden you're like, boom, you're in a new era, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, and they might like do like a cool like cutscene with like music in it, or a montage or something, and just
That's awesome.
it always kind of recentered you, got you really excited, and then it would spit you back out into the game, and you were like ready to go because you just got done with this huge montage. So I appreciated that too. So I would say a lot more variety than some of the older Lego games, at least in my experience.
A big strength of this game seems to be the way that they're juggling, like the game title suggests, like melding and remixing all the eras, the movies, the comics, like all the stuff together. In your opinion, being familiar with a lot of the source material, do they pull that off? I could see a world where in some fandoms, like, oh, you changed this, like this is not what I wanted to see, like, because it's sacred, but they're obviously taking great liberties. Is it that they have like a license to do that because, hey, it's a Lego game, it's humor, it's like it's supposed to be, this way, and they kind of get away with it? How do they handle all that, like the story wise and the different eras and all that?
Yeah, so honestly, I think they did a pretty good job. They decided to, they started off with the origin story, and so you get like Batman Begins, where he's like going to get trained up in the snowy mountains, and it's just like, okay, so we're starting here, but then all of a sudden it cuts to I think the next chapter is Batman 1989 with Joker, Jack Nicholson. All of a sudden you kind of jump around a little bit, and it's just, but it's fun and it works really well, and it's interesting just looking at Batman 1989 going, I'm playing a game right now in 2026, and they're referencing a game that's as old as I am, or they're referencing a movie that's as old as I am, and I'm playing a game that has it in it, and it's 37 years old now, and we're playing a game referencing a 37-year-old. It's just wild, but it's so cool, and it works so well, and it was really neat, and so I really liked that. I think they did a good job. There was a couple things they had to take some liberties on. One of the interesting things is basically, so every playable character in this game, there's only like 7 or 8 of them or something. Everybody can do a grappling hook, and everybody can do a glider, because you have to have those things to traverse open world. And so they're like, all right, we have to like figure out a way to give certain characters that would not have these things. And so Jim Gordon is a perfect example. This isn't really a spoiler. The earlier parts of the game, you play with Jim Gordon during the Batman 1989 stuff. And so they kind of like, and then you take him back to like the Batcave. And so like, so you have this weird early relationship with Batman and Gordon, where it's like he like doesn't actually know that Batman's Bruce Wayne, but it's like they're basically like origin partners. And so it's like, not that maybe that's been done in the comics or something, I don't know, but just it felt different because they're like, they had to kind of change the way they told the story a little bit to make that work. And there's a couple things that are spoilerish on the back end that I won't spoil, but I think they kind of trudged their own way at the end, but more or less they just kind of told this like all-star story of Batman, where they weaved all the movies and some of the games into each other, and then just kind of did the best with it what they could. The final result and the final act of the game, I don't know if it fully hit the mark, but like what they decided to do with it and how they finished it, like I could see why they went that route. And so it's an interesting mix of just repeating old material that is from other things, and then just kind of tweaking a few things to make it work. But for the most part, it's just heavy references. So if you're someone sitting going, that doesn't do it for me, then I can't say that like the storyline is necessarily like the most gripping thing. It's more of just like, how do we get from source material to source material, if that makes sense.
I remember a lot of the Lego games would give you like 100 characters to be, and you would swap into the most obscure characters to take up the mantle of if you wanted. And I'll be honest, like I didn't take advantage of like all of them. Who has the time to be like, let me do a run with like this one obscure character? But I would dip in just to check them out for a few minutes and then kind of leave them on the wayside. But I'm a little disappointed to see that, like, you didn't have this amazing huge niche roster. A lot of them like break the rules too. It's like in some of the other games, it was like, oh, you can play a bad guy just cause, just go out there and be a bad guy and do good guy things just because you're picking that skin, you're picking that character. So this only has a few then.
Yeah, I think there's 8 or 9 total that you unlock, and then Joker and Harley I think are playable later with the DLC, but that hasn't come out yet, and so there's a few more. But every character has 2 abilities tied to them, and so as you're traversing the open world, you kind of swap them in and out on a whim. You don't have to like go. You can just hit pause, or you can hit down on the D-pad and switch to whichever one you want, and they just load in. You do whatever puzzle or whatever thing with that character, and then if you go into a level, I think it kind of forces you to play as a certain person. But even some of the levels, I think you can even potentially swap out characters in, but they're a little more restricting on that. But yeah, I don't know. I see both sides of it. Like, it's cool that you can run through A New Hope as Darth Maul, right? Like there's a fun appeal to that.
Yeah.
But in those games, one character doesn't really act different than another one. They're just a skin swap. In this, they have abilities that are tied to them, so it's a little bit different. Does it suck? Maybe if you're used to having the ability to just play through any level as anybody, maybe it's kind of a bummer, but I think having some extra depth to the characters is more of a win than just being able to. And there's so many, and the amount of skins that are in this game, and there's not like bajillions or anything, but there's more than enough. I had such a blast just playing with all the different skins. Switch to one, play for 10 minutes, switch to another one, play for 10 minutes. And I just had such a blast doing that and didn't really try to hold myself to any rules. I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to try out different ones and see what's cool. There's some really funny ones for some of the side characters. And so I had a blast with the characters despite the fact that there's not as many. So it didn't really bother me personally.
For the open world stuff, I think to make a really good open world and a good superhero open world, like I think about Spider-Man PS5, which is one that I platinumed. It has to be fun to move within the world, like the traversal, and then the world has to look good and interesting. And then there has to be a decent amount of activities where, like in Spider-Man, when there was like a crime, it was like, oh, there's a crime, you got to go stop it really quick. It got a little monotonous when it was like some of the same like cutscenes and like, oh, I jump on the car all the time and that's what happens next. It wears off after a bit, but that world gave me enough to like fall in love with it. What is this world like, and which visual style do they take? Because quite honestly, like, this might be unpopular, but Batman and Robin, when they did Gotham at the like mega scale, like they were like racing up a statue and driving off of an arm. Like, it was just a ridiculous like take, and everything was neon. But then you have the 89 where it's like, this is steel, darkness, and smoke, and that's what Gotham is. So how does this handle the open world, and did you have fun? Is there a Batmobile, or like how does this work?
Oh yeah, there's all kinds of stuff. So to answer your question, yeah, there's Batmobiles. All the sidekicks have their own vehicles as well. Most of them are like motorcycles or whatever. You can swap out your skin for your Batmobile on the fly anywhere, whenever you want. Batman even has, some motorcycles and bat pods that maybe handle differently than the cars do. But the open world, as far as visual vibes go, I'd say it's a mixture between Arkham Knight, the last one to come out, and then a mixture of that and like Batman the movie, the 1989 Tim Burton one. I would say kind of somewhere in there. So it's dark, not too much neon. Maybe a little bit of Batman Begins with Christian Bale, because they have like the monorail system that goes to Wayne Tower. That's kind of like incorporated, so it's got a little bit of that vibe to it. But it reminds me a lot of the, am I saying that right? Arkham Knight, right? That's the Arkham Knight. So no, not Knights. What's the one before it? Arkham Knight, Gotham Knight, Gotham
Knights.
Gotham Knights is the one with all the characters. What's the one? The last one that Bruce Wayne is in.
Look it up.
I'm sorry. I think it's Arkham Knight. I could be wrong. Anyway, I get the titles confused. The map is similar to that one. So there's a lot of water around. There's a lot of islands, and so you're jumping from different islands. Basically, is how they did it in this one. And so the water basically allowed them to kind of separate things out a little bit more, so it feels bigger. So it takes you longer to get from the most southern point to the most, I know it sounds stupid, the most northern point, but like there's southern islands, there's the northern islands or whatever. And so it just spreads it out a little bit more, makes it feel bigger. It is a big map and there is a lot to traverse, but what am I thinking of? Did you pull it up?
Gotham Knights was 2022.
What is the single player one where you drive around and yeah, before Batman
dies. Arkham Knight is in 2015.
That's what I'm talking about.
And then before that was Arkham Origins.
So have you played Arkham Knight?
Yeah.
You remember how you drove around in the open world? It's basically, yeah, it's basically. I actually think I read it's bigger than that, but the map size is kind of like that. And then there's big bridges that kind of separate the pieces. So at first you like can't really fly well enough, so you have to kind of take the bridge. But in this game, you can drive around, you can fly around, you can walk around, you can do whatever you want. It kind of leaves it up to you. The city is very alive. I will give them credit.
Really?
There's stuff happening everywhere. There's little humans, Lego people walking around everywhere. There's posters everywhere. They've got lots of cool inside jokes on the posters. There's references to, there's a Halle Berry reference on a poster because she was in it wasn't even a Batman movie. It was a Catwoman movie. Which
the spinoff.
Technically, yeah, but it's like they even gave her a shout out. Like, so it's got a lot of that. There's a ton of obviously hidden things. There's Riddler puzzles. There's Puzzle Master puzzles. All kinds of stuff to find. So anytime you're on the map, you're close by something to go and do. And so it doesn't feel empty. It doesn't feel, I'm sure if you look hard enough, you'll find empty spots. And I'm sure there's also like hidden areas that I haven't found with references and different things. But overall, I actually really enjoy the open world. If I wasn't hanging out with my buddy and playing through this game together, I probably would have spent more time there and maybe finished the campaign a little bit slower. But I didn't want to like spend too much time in the open world when I had a buddy over who wanted to play with me. We still did quite a bit of the open world, but it was like I wouldn't spend like hours on it. I would, spend 30 minutes and be like, all right, let's run another mission. And then before I knew it, I was out of missions. So that's the only thing I kind of regret, was like I probably would have spent more time in the open world ahead of time. But anyway, it's a good thing because it's fun and I want to spend more time there. And so I would say really impressive. Probably the most impressive Batman open world to date. The thing I also found really impressive was when I did play this with my buddy, that we can literally, me and him could go and do our own thing separate on split screen. You can't do this online. I think it's split screen only. You have to be local, couch co-op or whatever. But so it splits the screen down the middle. My buddy's playing as, Catwoman or Robin or whatever. He can fly to a completely other side of the map, and he can start a racing trial, a speed trial on the Batmobile, while I'm over on the other side of the map, and I'm in a combat with a bunch of bad guys trying to beat them up, and so you can basically do whatever you want in the open world without each other. But then there's you'll run into parts where all of a sudden it's like, oh, you need Robin to do this, puzzle or whatever. And so there's certain things you run into. But I was just impressed how easy it is to drop in and out in the open world and have, someone take over the second player. And we could do things together if we wanted to, or we could kind of run off and do our own thing. And I didn't try going back to the Batcave. I assume we have to go to the Batcave together now that I think about it. But overall, I was actually really impressed with the 2-player. It worked really well. So if you're wondering about that, I think it's a great 2-player experience and would be a perfect one to play with a kid, because it would get frustrating, if the other person wasn't doing what they're supposed to. I could see it being frustrating, but it definitely works. It's definitely fun.
I think it's excellent that they leaned into the couch co-op specifically to be able to do that. Like that's really what you want, isn't it? Like when you split up to split the screen, like that
Yep.
just like eases everything. So that's really interesting. Quick editor's note: it isn't Telltale Games, it's TT Games, which is it was the result of that studio of Traveler's Tales and Giant Interactive, who had merged in 2005. So TT Games, not Telltale. They seem to have done a really great job. It is disappointing that there's no online co-op though, where you can just continue that. Because if I got this game now and I wanted to play with you, it's not going to be possible. And this is what there's got to be money constraints, there's got to be technology constraints. I understand that. It's wild when you just have like that one like mini gripe, because again, it's obviously something that friends who aren't going to be able to be on the same couch would love to do. I mean, this is getting absolutely rave reviews. People are buying it, playing it, like getting through it, and it seems very digestible. It's like 16 to 20 hours ish, across 22 chapters. It seems just like a really solid games, and that's what like people were craving. It looks like they respect Batman enough, they nod to it, it seems entertaining and funny. That's really all you want from these type of games. One quick note on the combat, because it's so important to me, because like I guess I don't need it to be breakneck difficult. Like I don't need a Dark Souls situation, but in the Arkham games, you are reacting to like color prompts, and you're dodging, hitting, etc., moving from enemy to enemy in a fluid way. Are you able to mix in gadgets? Because in some of the games, once you unlocked, like, you couldn't do it as much as I wanted, but once you unlock some of like the explosives on the batarang stuff, like they would let you weave that in, and then it would get a little bit deeper in like what you're doing, so you're not always punching and kicking. How does that work this time?
Yeah, so they definitely have it. You can definitely use your weapons. Your sidekicks can use their abilities and things. Some are better than others. I haven't even tried all of them out, honestly. Here was the problem I ran into in this game. My issue is that as a Batman fan, I didn't really want to play with the other characters as much. I did, obviously, but it was like I just want to play as Batman.
Yeah.
And maybe that'll change after a while, but for now I was like, man, I'm playing this game because I want to be Batman. Like I don't want to be Batgirl or whatever, or Talia or whatever. Anyway, but like it's all there, and eventually you have to, because like they at certain points you have to play as the other characters, and that's fine. So it's all there. As to answer your question though, yes, you can use other abilities. Like Batgirl has this like drone that she flies around, but when you get in combat, you can like actually like park it, and it turns into some kind of like combat drone that fights for you.
Awesome.
I haven't even tried it. I just read about it on her skill tree and was like, oh, that's cool. But dude, throughout the game, I wasn't gonna throw skill trees at Batgirl because like I don't play with her that often, and so I threw everything at Batman and just completely upgraded Batman, and then upgraded nobody else basically, which I realize now is not great. But now I'm going through and upgrading everybody and unlocking everything and stuff, and so I'm working on it. But so it's there. You don't need it though. You can literally just punch and block your way through the entire game if you really want to. You don't have to use abilities like what you're asking about to win. Can you? Yes. Should you? Yeah, it's fun, but it's not completely necessary. I really, my only gripe with the combat was just that the enemy variety just stopped growing really fast. They add a few things here and there, but really like weapons and big brutes are like the only variety you see. At least in the Arkham games, you get like dudes with knives, dudes with electricity, and you do have the shield guys. But it's just like it just feels very like your child's first Arkham game. Like it's what it feels like, and that's okay. Like it's really what it is. But like it's like a I don't want to say dumbed down. That's not the right word, but it's just a less intense Arkham game. And so the combat, just after a while, I mean, it's very simple. You can literally just put your thumb on the Y button and the X button and just counter and punch, and just eventually you'll just kill everything. But So that's not the hardest part, but I would argue that's not necessarily like where all the fun is to be had in this game. So I agree with you though. I wish there was online co-op. I think that would have been, that's like my biggest gripe about this game, honestly.
I think a lot of love went into this game, and I'm glad that you're overall satisfied with it. It is $69.99 just on the regular edition, $89.99 for the deluxe, and this is in this world. This is like premium pricing that we're supposed to accept as regular pricing now. Did you obviously went deluxe to get it early? Like, do you think that this is any reservations about the pricing and the value to this? Like, I it hurts to spend this type of money still for someone like me. I'm sure others are more fortunate and they can just drop the $70 on things like this. What do you think? I mean, the value to price.
Yeah. So first off, yeah, I paid $90 for this game. I 100% got my money's worth already, and I'm still going to keep playing. So, yeah, the game is worth it to me as a Batman diehard, as a big fan of it. I'm not the biggest Lego guy either, like just Legos in general. Like, I like Legos. I purposely don't collect them because if I did, like, I
It'd be
already
over.
I would have no room to move my desk chair right now if I did. I'm already at capacity. I cannot do Legos, but I love Legos, and I had Legos as a kid, and so I still appreciate them. I love the humor in Lego games. I legitimately laughed out loud at this game multiple times. So, like, all that to say, absolutely, I think this is worth it as a diehard. Is it worth $90 to everybody? Probably not. Is it worth $70 to everyone? I don't know. Like, it's hard to say. Is it going to come down in price eventually? Yes, every Lego game pretty much does. This one will probably go a little slower because I think it's a really good game. But within a year from now, it'll at least be half off, right? Within a year or two, I would think. And so if I'd say just wait it out, then find it where it's worth it to you. But if you're a diehard like comic book geek or a Batman fan or a Lego game fan, I would say I think it's worth it now. If you don't have anything good to play, buy this game. It's so much fun. But if you've got other games you're cooking in right now and you're like, I don't have time for it right now, I'd rather wait to see it go on sale. It'll be on sale eventually. It'll be waiting for you. But I think any cheaper is 100% worth. Like, you're getting a great deal at any discount at this point. And so I'm very happy with my purchase. Unlike Fallout 76 that I pre-ordered the deluxe edition of. I am not happy about that purchase, but with Batman, I am very happy.
Lego Batman Legacy of the Dark Knight. Highly recommended here. And you hear that sound, everybody? That's the sound of the caboose. We end the show, every show, by talking about a recommendation outside of the world of video games. Clay, do you have anything to recommend to the people? Something that people should check out?
Yeah, so I finished the final episode of The Boys last night.
Oh,
the season finale or
I didn't
series
know you were
finale.
into it. Okay, cool.
I was into it. I didn't watch it originally when like the first season came out. I was like a season 2 or 3 person that jumped on, but really enjoyed the first few seasons. It started to kind of like lose its luster toward the back end of the last couple seasons, and so I'm glad we got a finale. I'm glad that we made it to the end. I'll be curious to rewatch it start to finish in one go down the line at some point, just to kind of refresh myself with it in its entirety. But I still really enjoyed the show, and I think they did a lot of really interesting things. I haven't read the comics, so I don't know how great it is to the source material, but I really enjoyed the first couple seasons, and the ending was okay to me. I thought they did a decent job. It just didn't feel as absurd and zany in the end. It just kind of felt almost a little too realistic, and just kind of like, yeah, that seems right. It just felt a little safe, the finale. But I'm still happy that it happened. I can't believe that the show got made. It's so ridiculous and offensive and over the top.
Yeah.
It's like, it's almost even too much for me at times, but I stuck it out. Even my wife stuck it out, even though I kept looking over like, you don't have to keep watching this with me if this is like weird to you. But
Yeah.
we stuck it out. We saw it through. A lot of great actors, a lot of really good characters. I don't know all the actors' names, but the guy who plays Billy Butcher is amazing. The guy who plays Homelander. If Homelander wasn't already like prolific when he was just a comic book character, I don't know. But if he wasn't already, like he created, I don't know. To me, it feels like he made Homelander. He like took Homelander to a whole new level and made him one of the most like despised villains of our generation. And maybe I'm completely. Maybe he's always been written that way, and maybe like I'm not trying to like hate on the writers who created this character, but I think the actor did such a good job and made, even in the end I was like, man, it's such a good villain where he's just like laughing and smiling and you're like, man, I hate this guy.
Yeah.
Like, it's really interesting. So do you watch the show?
I saw I think I've saw a total of like 10 episodes. And I would watch it like when other people were watching it, so I would like come in like mid episode. Sometimes I would go and watch episodes when people said, oh, you have to watch this one. It really is known for being as like gross, out of pocket, and like disrespectful as you can be, and that's like the gist of it. And I didn't expect it to be that like campy, be like, they don't even have to make it this way, but they're just really leaning into it. So yeah, I found it a little too gross. I've seen like enough to understand what it is, but I didn't really feel the need to like, I didn't care about anybody, I didn't like, so I watched like clips of the end, like stuff like that. But yeah, it's good stuff, especially if you're into like superheroes done in the adult way, right? Through that lens.
Yep.
My recommendation is another adult-themed animation, and this is Primal. Specifically, you have to use the creator's name, Gendy Tartakovsky's Primal. If you look up Primal and you just look up ultra-violent cartoon about a caveman, you will find it. It's about a Neanderthal who's named Spear, who allies with a T-Rex to survive a brutal, fantastical prehistoric world. I don't remember when I first saw this, but I would watch it like clips on like YouTube and social media, and it just like pulled me, and it's just so awesome. There's certain cartoons done in the adult violent way where it's like anybody can die, anything can happen, because they just don't respect like the traditional like, hey, you can't do that. Like that's what these shows are about. They're like, yeah, we can, we're gonna do that, we're gonna show you this. And it's just really well done. Well, really jaw-dropping art style, in motion especially. I believe they have like comics and things like that, but you can find it on Adult Swim and elsewhere. So check it out. Primal, again, super violent caveman cartoon is what you need to look up. I haven't seen everything. I've seen far from everything it has to offer. Again, just like clips. And this is one where they do have a through line of a story that I kind of care about. So I had heard what the premise is of the latest season, and I was like, man, now I just got to watch it in order. So it's one of those type of things.
Yeah, and you have to see the art style to like, even because even the way you mentioned it, like the premise is very simple. Like in theory it doesn't sound that impressive, but once you actually look it up and look up a clip of it, like go on YouTube right now if you're listening or watching us, just look it up, because you either and then once you see it, you'll either know if it's for you or it's not. But like, I agree, it's super dope, and it has a really cool art style. Kind of reminds me of like Samurai Jack or something like that.
Exactly.
And,
yeah.
Oh yeah, dude, that's stuff.
Samurai Jack had really
awesome.
good stuff too. That's one that I would pop in and out of, and like when you watch it, you're like, oh, I'm watching art right now. I don't know why I'm watching art right now on Adult Swim, but I am.
Heck yeah.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us for another exciting episode of Mega Dads Live. You can support us for just $1 by going to Patreon and becoming a Mega Dads Boost member. Just $1 gets you shows early and ad-free, and we appreciate it so much because we use those dollars to buy onions. If you watched one of our previous episodes, you'll know exactly what that means, but we need your money and support, and we appreciate you listening. If it's the first time or the 100th time, thank you for being here. We'll see you next time on another exciting episode. Thank you, Clay, for being here.